Good morning, beautiful souls. Pardon me. Welcome. If you're signing in on the replay, just hang tight with me while we wait a few minutes for everybody to join us. And while you're waiting, I just invite you to breathe in full and slow and deep into your body. Connect with your I am presence, that soul signal. Thank you, Jizzy. Appreciate you. So Arno let me know that he can see me, which means all of you can see me. So as you're logging in, and we're waiting for 7 o'clock straight up, just make sure you say hi in the comments. And then begin to breathe full and slow and deep into your body. And as you're breathing, just begin to connect with the intelligence in your upgraded command center in your heart chakra. We have complete access to the full intelligence of our eternal soul coming online to support us in this lifetime right now. Just connect with that. We got about 1 more minute. If you're joining on the replay, thanks for being here. Make sure you say hello in the comments, and I'll come back and see everyone who joined me today, live or on the replay. Excuse me. All right, it is 7 o'clock straight up. Let me make sure my volume, there we go. Excuse me. So I'm going to just start by telling you I am feeling all kinds of feelings today. I have had an incredibly challenging weekend yesterday. I spent the entire day retracing my steps, driving from location to location anywhere I'd been on Saturday. Somehow I have 2 segments of keys on the same keychain, and one of them fell off, and all I had left was my car key, my truck key, and I was locked out of my studio, out of my casita, out of my storage, everything I had planned for yesterday, and the whole day was spent searching for my keys. And on top of that, my son's new girlfriend, who he's madly in love with, has been challenged with some very rare disease, and they're on their way to Mexico. It's a life-threatening disease, and I can't even pronounce it. It's an autoimmune disease, and they're on their way to Mexico because she's not been getting any help here in America. And just the grief that I'm feeling for her. She's in her mid-30s, and she's got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and the love between her and my son has been just so beautiful to watch. And now they're navigating this ridiculously challenging experience on top of everything else that's going on in their lives and in the world. And so today I'm just feeling really heavy. And then juxtaposed on top of that, I'm feeling really excited because at 11 o'clock today, I've been invited to be filmed in my art studio for a local show here in the desert called The Art of Cathedral City. Do you ever have that experience where you just feel weighted with stuff? And today I've got to spend the day figuring out getting all those new keys, and that just feels like swimming through molasses. In reality, it's very simple. It just feels heavy. So I feel this weight today as I'm coming to share with you, and I share that with you because all of us have so many moving parts that just activate all kinds of stuff within us. And yet, according to the elders, there is this steady, what they're calling the soul signal. It is a year ago, they got us really focused inward on the I am presence. Now they're calling it the soul signal. So today I want to reinforce what we talked about last week on Magical Monday. I brought a special message to last Magical Monday, and it took me till yesterday to actually send you that. So you now have 4 written messages from the elders just for June. And what is today? June 15th. There's a lot of medicine going on here. And I've been sitting with the medicine of last week's message because I asked them a question about the message they brought forward just for our soul work sanctuary. And it really, I've been sitting with it all week, and it's really been shifting my internal connection to my I am presence, which I know is also helping me navigate what's happening today. And I really see the challenge that my son is experiencing in this, in the big scheme of things, the challenge of having to replace all my keys. But these are obstacles coming into our personal experience as we're being guided, that this soul signal is getting stronger. And I've been sitting with last week's message, and I can feel how it's even fortifying how I'm dealing with this juxtaposed roller coaster of emotion I'm currently riding. So I want to spend a little time talking about that because, excuse me, 2 weeks ago in our first Saturday Sacred Circle, we spent the entire time exploring a simple but super powerful question. If fear were not speaking right now, what would my deeper knowing be saying about this situation? And fear is talking in very subtle ways. It's talking to me about my lost keys. It's telling me my landlord's going to be pissed I lost my key. It's telling me the art studio director is going to be pissed. The reality is, I sent them both a text message this morning, and they both said, "Oh, that is so challenging. I'll get on it for you right away," or something equally as supportive. But fear was talking. But so back to the question that we were looking at in the circle. If fear were not speaking to us right now, what would my deeper knowing be saying about the situation? In the circle, I had everybody answer the question, and I was not surprised at how fast all of you, I wasn't surprised that you received the answer. I wasn't surprised at all, but I was completely delighted with the speed with which you received them. And I don't know if you paid attention to that, because as we were sitting there and we were thinking about what's our biggest challenge this far into the year and the situations that we're kind of feeling unresolved in our lives, in that moment 2 weeks ago, something became very clear, and you may have already forgot about it, but the deeper knowing was already there. The soul signal was already online. The guidance was not missing. The wisdom was not missing. Excuse me. Our connection to the soul signal that is sitting side by side with the inherited signal was already online. For the most part, what's missing, and this is why I really want to review this today, for the most part, what was missing is the trust. Trusting what you're already hearing, trusting what you already know, trusting the next step that was already being offered. And I had you write it down. And when I was going through that process, asking them for this extra message because of what they've said in the first 3 messages, I was asking them, so how do we apply this? How do we make it practical? And that's the message they gave us a week ago, and it's in your inbox. And that's what we're going to review again today, because they gave us simple instructions on how to interact with it every day. They gave us 3 simple words, or 3 simple instructions rather, that are pretty much 3 simple words. Feed it, listen to it, follow it. The soul signal is fully connected. It's a softer broadcast until we fully tune in and put our attention on it. Feed it, listen, follow it. What does that mean? It means creating enough space in our lives to hear ourselves. It means you creating enough space in your life to hear yourself. Because all day long, we're frickin' bombarded with all kinds of noise and static. The news, social media, everybody else's opinions, throwing them our ways. Other people's fears moving into our field, and then we experience them as our own. All of this chaos energetically signals getting crisscrossed all the time, floating into our field. We interpret them as ours. And the thing is, the soul signal is not really competing for your attention. It's just lying there, steady, quiet, plugged in, fully plugged in, waiting for you to tune in outside of all the noise and all the static. Sometimes feeding that signal, it can look like sitting quietly with your morning coffee or your morning tea. Sometimes it's just a walk in nature. Sometimes it's journaling. Sometimes it's prayer or meditation. Sometimes it's creating something. And sometimes it's just cleaning your house, right? It's not these big, profound moments. Sometimes it's just turning everything off for 5 minutes and just asking yourself, how am I really doing right now? I had to do that yesterday as I'm driving place to place and nobody has my keys. Okay, check in. How am I really doing right now? Not because any of those things are magical, but each of those things, walking in nature, praying, stopping, pausing, all of them, they just create space. And if we never create space, we're never going to hear the signal. So the second instruction was listen. So feeding the signals is everything we just went through. That's how you feed it. The second instruction is listen to it. And the elders, excuse me, gave us a very practical way to do that. What they told us is whenever fear begins telling you a story about the future, ask yourself, what is actually true right now? I love that question. As I was fearful that my landlord or the studio director was going to be pissed, I'm fearful they're going to be upset, I had to ask, what's true right now? And in that moment, what was true is I don't know what the reaction's going to be. And when it comes across my desk, I can deal with it then, right? Because most of the time, fear is always causing us to live in the future. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if things get worse? What if I fail, right? What if I don't have enough? It's always in the future. And in the message, the elders said this, the soul meets you where your feet are. I love that. The soul meets you where your feet are, meaning it joins us in our physical reality right here, right now, with what's really happening. Let's say you're worried about money. What does fear always say? Because that money is a big constant fear for most of us. I'm going to run out. What if I don't make it? What if everything falls apart? Right? The soul asks, what's actually true right now? I said this last week. Maybe right now you still have food in your refrigerator. Maybe right now you still have a roof over your head. Maybe right now you got plenty of people who care about you. Maybe right now you just don't know what's going to happen next, which is usually the case, right? And all of that's okay, because what is true right now is usually very different from whatever fear is predicting. And we all know that to be true, but when fear is gone unchecked, it just rules us and reverberates in our body like it's true. Which brings us to the third instruction: follow it. This is where most people get stuck. That signal is sending guidance all the time, and then fear immediately starts to negotiate, right? It starts explaining, it starts doubting, it starts asking for guarantees. Yeah, but what, right? The soul doesn't give guarantees in the moments it's broadcasting. It rarely gives us the entire roadmap. What does it give us? We looked at this over and over in many ways over the years. It usually offers one next step. And I said last week, it's a phone call, it's a conversation, it's a boundary, it's a decision, it's a moment of courage, it's a moment of rest, it's a moment of trust. We always feel intuitively from that very faint signal that we're barely even paying attention to the next step. One step, not 20, one step. You know what I'm talking about, right? You all wrote it down 2 weeks ago. What was the next step? What I've noticed is that when we already know what the next step is, sometimes we don't even like it or we don't trust it. Those two things, we simply don't like it or we don't trust it, or we're waiting for more certainty to prove to us that that's the next step. But certainty is not what builds trust. The more we follow that inner guidance from that signal that is getting stronger, and the more we follow it, the stronger it becomes. That's how we build trust and confidence in trusting the inner guidance. You've all had experiences where you've proven this to be true to yourself. So this week, my challenge to you this week is sitting with the questions, these questions regarding the feed it, listen, and follow. Have I created enough space to hear myself today? What's actually true right now? And what is the next step I already know? If you play with those three questions several times throughout the day, have I created any space to hear myself? What is actually true right now? And what is the next step I already know? And that's it. You feed it, you listen, and then you follow it. You're going to build the confidence that I don't need to know the entire path. I only need to be willing to take the next step. Let's all commit to that this week. Let's commit to really focusing on those simple three words: feed it, listen to it, and follow it. Particularly the follow it, and see what begins to shift in our experience as we keep moving through June. That's where I'm going to leave you today. I love you tons. I'll see you next week, and we'll compare notes and see what we all experience as we play this game together. All right. I love you tons. Be well. Bye for now.